After those beautiful chanting by Sarvatma, everybody, most of us know him. He has this Akarma cafe next door. Tuesday, Wednesday service, nice vegetarian meals. Let's thank him for that. This evening, we have a special guest. We're very honored and happy that we have with us His Holiness Devamrita Swami. He's originally from New York. He's a graduate from Yale University. After graduating and coming across these teachings that, like for example, we have those yellow books, Bhagavad Gita by Srila Prabhupada. He understood the message and the meaning of life, and he's very passionate about traveling all over the world for the last 40 years and extensively sharing the wisdom that he gained from these books, especially to the youth of this age. And he's author of books like Vedic India we have here, Searching for Vedic India. He's an initiating spiritual master. He also travels to down under Australia, New Zealand, presenting Krishna consciousness. He's been to many, many universities around the world. So this evening we're going to hear from him the topic meditation, superconscious reality. And afterwards we have a nice vegetarian dinner for all of you. And this happens every Monday here. Not every Monday we have a special guest, but every Monday we have something special. So without further delay, let's welcome His Holiness Devamrita Swami. After the talk, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and also if you're interested, you can buy one of these books and he will sign for you. Come forward a little bit because many students come late.
Thank you. You see, the seats in the front are the most expensive ones. I've spoken at USC before. But this gathering, right away I can tell is something special because you're not just spectators. I sense a yearning to go to a much deeper level in life. For something priceless, we don't expect many buyers. For something cheap, then there'll be the multitudes. Rarely it happens that for something genuinely precious, throngs of people are after it. I was speaking in Colorado last week at Denver University, Colorado State University, and University of Colorado Boulder. And I sensed there that even though Colorado was very laid back, much more laid back than Southern California, yet there's some underlying dissatisfaction. There's some emptiness gnawing in the heart. Our question tonight is about our quest. Meditation is a hot topic. Human beings are so stressed out today that there's a hope that meditation can make a dent in our burden of anxiety. In Colorado, I explained an interesting fact. Everyone is meditating on something. So the question is, what is the best meditation? So this was news to some people. I mean, everyone's meditating? Sure. Everyone has some mental focus, right? They've got something on the mind. Money, lust, fame, some kind of gratification is always on the mind, right? As soon as you wake up in the morning, the meditation starts. Actually, while you're asleep, you're meditating in your dreams. And when you wake up, you immediately begin to focus. You begin to meditate. What do I want? What's in the day for me? What will it be? How will I find my fortune? How will I find my gratification? Who's going to help me? Who's going to try to hinder me? This is meditation. But obviously, persons like you are concerned not with the ordinary, mundane meditations. You have an aspiration to go to the highest level. For such persons, the treasures of Bhakti Yoga are waiting. There are 18 million people or more practicing yoga in the USA as they know it. The asanas, the physical postures, the pranayama, the breathing exercises, all very good for health, and these lower rungs on the yoga ladder, the postures and the breathing, will make an impact in terms of reducing your anxiety. But the real gift is at the top rung of the yoga ladder, the ultimate connection. Because yoga literally means to connect, to link. So the big question then is, what is that ultimate linkage? What's that ultimate connection? That's what we should be meditating on. When we think of super consciousness, generally we think of just consciousness of everything. But that can't be us because we're tiny particles of consciousness. This is the first thing that the Vedic knowledge, that compendium of enlightenment and self-realization, this is the first thing it teaches us. We are tiny eternal particles of consciousness, housed in temporary bodies and minds of matter. And our real quest is for connection to the supreme consciousness, the super consciousness, which we cannot be because we're too tiny. Just think, if we are actually super consciousness, then why are we bewildered right now in our life in terms of lacking full knowledge, having impediments to our quest for pleasure? Once we understand that we are tiny particles of the Supreme Consciousness, then we know our goal is to act in harmony with that Supreme Consciousness. When the part acts in harmony with the whole, then we're holistic. Many of you no doubt have wondered, how can we be holistic if we don't know what we're part of? Yeah. To be truly holistic, we have to know what we're a part of. So where do we get knowledge of that complete whole? Described in Sanskrit as Om Purnam. Where do we get knowledge of that perfect and complete of which we are a part? So we can take meditation in different ways. The ordinary mundane way, money, sex, fame, power, respect, fame. Or we can upgrade our meditation, and that is the purpose of the genuine yoga and meditation system, to upgrade your focus. Because when the focus is on the low level, naturally we're going to be in anxiety. There are various means that you can adopt to cope with stress and anxiety. You can go for a walk in nature. Maybe some of you have tried that. Go for a swim. Try to put on some music that you hope will soothe you. Gather around some friends who agree with you, and that way you may relax a bit. Those methods are good in a limited way. And sometimes it's recommended. Pick anything and meditate on it. Any kind of sound, a candle, anything. And just focus, and gradually you'll calm down. The genuine meditation system recommended in the ancient Bhakti Yoga texts is not just meditate on anything. No, the quest is to find the ultimate, highest focus of our consciousness. Some of you have heard of Bhagavad Gita, the prime Bhakti Yoga text. It has a graduate study known as Srimad Bhagavatam, an encyclopedic work. And there is the history of a 5-year-old perfect yogi. No doubt this 5-year-old perfect yogi named Prahlad made massive spiritual advancement in his previous lifetimes. Therefore, even at 5 years old, his prowess manifested. He would speak to his school friends about how the purpose of human life is not simply economic affairs, family affairs. No, the purpose of human life is enlightenment. His father didn't really appreciate this. His father was an extraordinary terrorist. Just notorious, ruthless. But the son, the 5-year-old boy, was totally different. Sometimes this happens, that the greatest personalities are put in families that are completely opposite. This opposition magnifies the glories, the wonder of these great personalities. You think, how could someone be a perfect meditator, a perfect yogi, with a terroristic father? His father was worse than Stalin or Hitler. Maybe you have studied in some of your history classes, European history. Stalin, the ferocious dictator of Russia in the first half of the 20th century, said, "What's the problem in governing? What is the problem in maintaining a political order? It's so easy. All you have to do is bring the people almost to the point of starvation, and they do whatever you want. What's the problem with political science? What's the problem with governance?" So Prahlad, the 5-year-old yogi, had a father worse than that. But one day, the father, he wanted to share affection with his son. Although the father terrorized massive populations, to his son, he wanted to show affection. So he picked up the 5-year-old boy on his lap, embraced him, and said, "My dear son, I've sent you to school hoping that you'll learn how to be a complete materialist like your father. How to terrorize, how to control, how to exploit. tell me, what is the best thing that today you learned in the wonderful school I sent you? And what was his son's answer? What a shock. A 5-year-old boy said, "My dear father, oh, best of the materialists, the best thing I've learned in school today is that anyone who identifies with the material body and mind must always be in anxiety." Prahlad cut right to the chase. He got right to the crux of our existential crisis. We may go for walks in nature to rid ourselves of anxiety. We may meditate on our breath. We may manufacture any kind of sound. We may stare at candles. But as long as we identify with the body and the mind as the self, we must be in anxiety. Any other solutions will be stopgap, temporary, superficial. So if we want to get to the core of our existential difficulties, then we need to recognize that the real self is different from matter. Then our life can start to take off and soar. But I agree with you, there's difficulty. The difficulty is that living in a consumer society, living in a society that emphasizes short-term material goals, not even long-term material goals, but short-term material goals. Goals in terms of the next election, or goals in terms of the next financial quarter. That's as forward thinking as we often get. Because we live in such a society that's pushing short-term material goals, it's very difficult to break out of that mold. And sometimes we feel like crying out because we feel so helpless. We are bombarded by our bodily urges. Yes, we're bombarded by our mental harassments of various types. And then there's all kinds of barrages coming from society around us. Real meditation begins by getting to the underlying story of our life. Please think about this. Everyone's life has a story, a script. Now, where did the script come from? That we have to ask ourselves. Did we write the script, or are we taking on board stories from external sources that actually bring about negative situations? So individuals have stories and society has stories. So what is the story behind our life? Meaning, what are the assumptions? What are the creeds? What are the beliefs, whether recognized or not? So the 5-year-old perfect yogi, Prahlad, cut right to the chase. How can you get rid of anxiety as long as we think that we are the body and mind? Thinking in that way, whether we do this kind of meditation or that kind of meditation, as long as we identify with the body and mind as the self, we must be in anxiety. So then you might say, okay, very good 5-year-old Prahlad, but what positive thing can you give us? And indeed, the 5-year-old boy could recommend to his schoolmates, his school friends, that from the very beginning of life, even at 5 years old, you should begin the process of meditation upon the Supreme. Don't wait, he said. Don't wait until you're old. it gets very difficult to sort out your life when you're old, because the habits you've accumulated in this lifetime, what to speak of the habit energy coming from previous lifetimes, it just hardens in your old age and you become fossilized. Very difficult to change. So Prahlad recommended from the very beginning of life, or that moment in life when you first understand the necessity, begin your enlightenment, begin your quest for the love supreme, the highest meditation, beyond material meditation. Now, some people think that you should just focus on your mind and body and breath, and that's what meditation is. Certainly we want to relax, and certainly we want to be tranquil, but we can't just do a cosmetic treatment on our existential problems. We need to get to the root, and this is why enlightened persons like Prahlad, described in the Bhakti Yoga texts, are so praised throughout the ages for millennia, because they can help us get to the root so we don't waste time. It's very good that people want to chill out and think about themselves and be more mindful. Very good. But we must push further. That's the point. We must go further down the road and examine the underlying story to our life. Am I matter or am I beyond matter? And if I am non-material, what is the nature of the non-material reality that I'm part of? And what is my relationship with that non-material reality? This is what the genuine meditators want to focus on. The supreme pleasure, the love supreme, generated by the relationship between the particle of spiritual consciousness, that's us, and the supreme consciousness. So please, let us look at stress and anxiety in another way. A way that tells us we can't actually eradicate stress and anxiety as long as we think, I am this body, I am this mind. You see, according to the prime yoga texts, like Bhagavad Gita, there's no such thing as mind over matter, because mind is matter. It's subtle, psychic matter, as contrasted to the physiology, the body, which is considered gross or very apparent matter. So what the genuine yoga and meditation system does is take you beyond physiology and psychology. It doesn't simply massage your current physiology and psychology as a solution or as a meditation. Just think beyond the body, beyond the mind. That is where the real pleasure is. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, the prime Bhakti Yoga text, Krishna points out that the greatest yogi, the highest yogi, the most perfect meditator is the one who is intimately united with the Supreme Consciousness, intimately united with Krishna. There in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is pointing out our yearning for relationship, intimacy. We think relationships and intimacy are things of the ordinary world only. But at the pinnacle of the yoga system, at the topmost rung of the yoga ladder, there is the pure spiritual intimacy As I said, the love supreme. This is what Krishna is guiding us toward. How to have the highest meditation. Meditation on the relationship between the tiny particle of spiritual consciousness and the supreme consciousness. Because as long as we are disconnected, how can we be fulfilled? If you see in the street an amputated limb, you'll be very repulsed. A cut off hand just laying in the street. But if we live like an amputated limb, disconnected from the supreme reality, disconnected from Krishna, then whatever we do, we'll never feel properly situated. And that sense of not being properly situated accompanies us throughout our life, but not just throughout this life, but through countless lifetimes before and countless lifetimes after. Our journey has been that long. Our journey has been that arduous. So let us think how to make a complete solution to the problem of anxiety and stress. Not a cosmetic solution. Of course, we have to start somewhere. So therefore, I very much appreciate endeavors to calm down, be mindful, chill out, take a deep breath. But that's just the beginning. We must push further. Now, sometimes it's said that you can make up any sound you like and meditate on that. I saw at one university in the UK, one student, he told me, I wanted to prove to myself, you can pick any sound and just focus on that, and you will be one with whatever, and the whatever will be one with you. So he just sat in the lotus position and made up a sound. He wanted to prove it to me. Coca Pepsi, Coca Pepsi, Coca Pepsi, Coca Pepsi. And he was trying to make the point that by focusing on that arbitrary sound that he made up, he would somehow or other get into the zone and feel at one with the cosmos. So certainly, by just sitting down peacefully, one feels a little tranquility as compared to all the stress and strains of the normal day. But that doesn't mean one has attained the spiritual level. To attain the spiritual level, we require authentic spiritual sound. This is why the Hare Krishna mantra becomes so important. It is prescribed sound. Just like I came from India a few weeks ago, and I had some gastro problem, which is common when you're coming from India. It's called the Delhi belly. So I tried getting rid of it by natural tonics and herbs, but this time it wasn't happening. Statement, anavriti shabdat, liberation, freedom from material existence through sound. The wrong sound puts you in the mirage, in the illusion. And we've been hearing that all our life. If you want to be happy, do like this. Everyone's happy who does this, right? It comes to you through your ear. Listen, you took through your ear your goals, your concepts, your aspirations, your hopes. It all came through sound vibration. Through music, through speech, through sight and sound. The sights are always accompanied by sounds. So our consciousness has been shaped by sound, generally in a negative way. But the Vedas point out that the right sound, the right prescribed sound, can rescue our consciousness, indeed free our consciousness from illusion. This is why we put emphasis on the Hare Krishna mantra. It is the prescription given in the Vedic texts. So it's not that you can just recite any sound. Fads have developed, commercial fads, in which you can just pay some money and they'll give you some manufactured sound and you can sit and vibrate that and you can feel that this is meditation. But no, there's an authorized system of meditation, prescribed system. Our goal in this human form of life is how to apply that authorized, prescribed system. So it's so wonderful that so many persons want to break away from the stresses and anxieties of the day. So many persons want to be more mindful of who they are and what they should be doing. That's very good. So then we have to make further progress. Just like so many of you, when you were in intermediate school or high school, you had aspirations. I want to go to the university. So no doubt your parents encourage you. Yes, yes. University is required these days if you want to break out of the lower economic levels. So you wanted to become accredited. You wanted to become authorized by your studies. The hope is that by being university authorized, there'll be more economic benefit. Similarly, there is the authorized meditation system. And we enroll in it with the appropriate hope that we can become free from illusion. And once we become free from illusion, then we can relish our connection with the ultimate source, described in the Vedas as Krishna. Krishna literally means the ultimate source of pleasure. Did you ever think that pleasure has an ultimate source? Nah. Well, there's a little pleasure here, a little pleasure there. It comes and goes very quickly. You got to grab it while you can. I was speaking at Denver University, and I brought up a point to the students and professors gathered there. I said, listen to this. The statement I'm going to make is going to sound very appropriate and thoughtful to so many of you. Here it is. The test of true enjoyment is the remembrance that it leaves behind. At least at Denver University, everyone was nodding their head. Yeah. I could sense that you were, well, should we nod our heads or? But it sounds appropriate to our ordinary intelligence. The test of true enjoyment is the remembrance that it leaves behind. What do you think? Yeah. Yeah, okay, thank you for your honesty. Okay. Unfortunately, the yoga texts totally disagree with that. The meditation texts totally disagree with that. Why should the test of true enjoyment be the memories that it leaves behind? No, the test of true enjoyment is that it doesn't go away. It doesn't come or go. But we're so reduced to scraps that we say, oh, even though enjoyment's gone, the memory, precious memories, sweet memories to savor. can think of great moments of achievement in sports or in your studies or money making, something. And what's glorified? One shining moment. Someone was telling me how at the end of the NCAA basketball finals, I was told that it was a thrilling end, and all the athletes, student athletes as they're called, they were glorified for having one shining moment. Why is it that we are so prone to emphasize a shining moment or two? Where is that pleasure that has no beginning or end? This is what the genuine meditators and yogis are most concerned with. Beyond temporary relief from anxiety, what is the ultimate pleasure? So what Krishna explains in the prime Bhakti Yoga text, Bhagavad Gita, the intelligent person doesn't take part in temporary thrills, pleasure that comes and goes. The intelligent person knows material pleasures have a beginning and end. And so, such a person refrains from the ordinary pleasures because he or she is tasting the higher pleasures. So when we execute the genuine yoga and meditation system properly, we are in contact with that superior pleasure, which is beyond matter. That superior pleasure of the ultimate connection with the supreme pleasurable source. And that's exactly what Krishna means. The supreme source of unlimited pleasure. Who wouldn't want to connect with that? I'd like to explain one last point about anxiety. It's a point that we often have never thought of. In my travels on every continent of the world except Antarctica, no need for me to go to Antarctica, I found that rarely do people catch this point beforehand. But after it's explained, they begin to indeed contemplate it. Anxiety is nature's way of letting us know we're striving for the wrong goal in life. Anxiety is nature's way of informing us we're on the wrong track. Therefore, anxiety plays actually a good role. It's informing us, just like if you eat too much, your stomach pains inform you, hey, don't do that again. Now, similarly, the stress and anxiety that accompanies us in our life is actually a service from nature, letting us know we're endeavoring in the wrong way. We're barking up the wrong tree. So the genuine yogi, the genuine meditator, takes those cues and begins to reshape his or her life through lifestyle engineering. Because what Krishna is offering in Bhagavad Gita is applied spiritual technology, not religious belief. If we are parts of the Supreme, parts of the superconsciousness, then where is the experience and what is the process for experiencing this? Tonight, we'd like to urge you to move to a higher level. It's not possible for everyone because not everyone wants or desires to go to a higher level. But some do. And they should be given a chance. They should be given the knowledge. They should be given the facility and the methodology. Can this be done while you're working, while you're studying? Of course. This is why the pinnacle of the meditation system is being taught in Bhagavad Gita. You can see this. It's being taught in the middle of two armies on a battlefield. Just to let us know that in any material circumstance, we can all be genuine yogis, genuine meditators, even on a battlefield in between two armies. How to connect all our activities to the pleasure of the Supreme. That is the art, science, and culture of Bhakti Yoga. Connecting to the Supreme, connecting to Krishna in pure love and devotion. Pure love is the most powerful energy, but you won't see it on the ordinary level of material existence. Have you ever said to someone, "I love you purely"? So, what is it? People are so love-starved these days, they'll just be happy. Well, at least you love me for the moment. Hey, doesn't get much better than that. Right? In the hookup culture, that's the way it works. You take what you get when you can get it and move on. Because everyone's moving on. But pure love means love beyond matter, love beyond material circumstance. This is the goal at the topmost rung of the yoga ladder, to love supreme, the pure connection, the pure harmony between the part and the complete whole. So I just like to share those thoughts with you tonight, and I'm very thankful that I can see this is a very thoughtful audience. It's not a superficial audience. I appreciate that very much. So I actually didn't speak to you on the level that I planned. You pushed me to go deeper. Well, I thank you so much for that. Now perhaps you have some questions. Yes.
First of all, thank you for speaking to us. My question is, what are your thoughts on the relationship between drugs and enlightenment?
You don't need anything material for your spiritual development. The drugs simply act on the platform of physiology and psychology, but they don't connect with your non-material identity.
What if you've had a transcending experience that's kind of stuck with you?
Sometimes, whether with drugs or not, people have some flash that I'm different from the body and mind. There are much more effective ways to achieve that than drugs, which can be quite haphazard and quite risky. With drugs, you could get a flash of experience this way or that way, and it can be quite unpredictable and quite dangerous. You're tampering with your physiology and psychology in risky ways. So sometimes, whether with drugs or not, you get some insight. You may even have some deja vu flash of your past life, with drugs or not. But there's much more substantiality to be had. Drugs produce distortions, but we're already distorted enough. We think we're the body and mind. That's a massive distortion. So, no. There's no question of using drugs for enlightenment. Drugs simply increase the delusion. We want applied spiritual technology, genuine spiritual science, which allows us to see clearly what is the self, what is the supreme self. Playing around with our physiology and psychology won't accomplish the goal.
So if you're in the delusion of enlightenment, can you be enlightened?
What do you mean by delusion of enlightenment?
Like a drug-induced enlightenment.
It's not enlightenment. It's like a kaleidoscope of physiology and psychology that you haven't experienced before. Then you say, wow, that's spiritual, man. It's like when you were a little kid, did you use a kaleidoscope?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Whoa, you said to your friends, look at that, look at that. Wow.
Okay.
What happened when you don't use a kaleidoscope now, do you? Why? Because you know what a kaleidoscope is, right? It's just a cardboard tube with some pieces of colored plastic at the end. So drugs do that to you. Wow, man. Wow, what a trip, yeah. It's got to be spiritual. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Any else? Yes.
Is there say you practice mantras, right? Like mantra meditation.
Indeed.
Are there conditions which you can reach that are beyond sound, being that the source...
Beyond what?
Beyond sound, being that the source, sound is a result of the source.
The Bhakti Yoga text will teach you that pure sound is identical with the ultimate source. And that is one of the reasons why the Maha Mantra, the Hare Krishna mantra, is emphasized. The yoga texts explain that the spiritual sound of the Hare Krishna mantra is the same as the ultimate source. Therefore, you're associating with the ultimate source. You're associating with Krishna through sound. And the intensity of that association depends on the quality of the meditator. How pure your love is. Yes, again.
Have you had a single moment of clarity yourself? Or was it a gradual process?
Hopefully, I've had more than a single moment.
Well, I'm saying like the one moment where you realize like...
One shining moment.
Wow, I get it.
You want to know the truth? This is a daily event.
Like that.
And it gets better and better with each passing day. Otherwise, how could I go on? I've been doing this for over 43 years, since I graduated from university. Just embracing some doctrine or theology wouldn't allow me to sustain for that long. Come on, I used to do all the stuff you do. Probably more of it. Well, you don't know about it. Okay, fair enough. I won't say more because the video camera's on. There is better pleasure to be had. You're obviously a pleasure lover. Takes one to know one. But there's better stuff on offer. Okay. Yes.
Thank you so much for your class. What's the most beneficial way that we can help other people?
First, we have to know who we are, and then we can help others. Otherwise, it's the blind leading the blind. We have to know the nature of the real self. And then we can help others to uncover that real self in relationship with the Supreme Self. Otherwise, in the name of doing good, we could be causing harm. If someone would treat you like you're the body, they might think they're doing you a favor, but actually they're hurting you by acting in such a way that puts you deeper into illusion, all in the name of care and love. Let's say you're in the hospital with a disease in which you shouldn't eat solid food. Maybe you've got typhoid or something like that. And one of your friends, out of so-called love and compassion, sees that you haven't had solid food for 2 weeks. And you two discuss, and you know exactly what you want. You want a pizza. And so he goes and gets you a pizza with all the warmth of his heart, with all the affection. He brings the pizza to you in the hospital, and you eat it. Has he helped? Why not? What about the feeling in his heart? And you wanted the pizza. Why hasn't he helped you?
I'll be in the hospital for longer.
But one shining moment of eating the pizza. It was good, wasn't it? Isn't that all that matters? No, you're responding from the platform of knowledge. Even though it seems good for the moment, in the medium and long run, it's going to make my situation worse. But still, the person who brought the pizza thought he was helping you. So therefore, in my travels, I always point out that the world is full of persons who want to love and care without qualification. So Bhakti Yoga, Krishna consciousness, is the art, science, and culture of how to become a qualified carer, a qualified lover, based on knowledge. Otherwise, in the name of love, we're actually putting others deeper into illusion. So the Bhakti Yoga text described that there's a deeper definition of violence than what we normally think. Violence is beyond physical. It's also pertaining to someone who acts in such a way that you become more in ignorance. You become more you identify more with your body and mind as the self. And so much of what people call love is all about that. I'm the body, you're the body. Let's manufacture some love. That means the ignorance is increasing. Real love means to help someone make advancement toward enlightenment. Partners in enlightenment. That is reality. But simply partnering based on the body and mind, that's so superficial. And therefore, the result is that no one is genuinely fulfilled or satisfied. So there's a way to use everything material for the highest purpose. Not that you reject the world as false. No, we recognize, bhakti yogis recognize that the energy belongs to the energetic source, and we use all the energy for the pleasure of the source of the energy. That is Krishna consciousness. And that's how you can truly love and truly care. Yes. Yes?
Is there a chance that for a practitioner, their love won't develop?
Won't develop? If one is following the Bhakti Yoga process properly, if the meditation is proper, the love must come out, because originally we are pure spiritual entities, but we're lost in a dream world, identifying with the body and mind as a self. So if we're actually properly following the authorized process, the original love must come out. And you'll see that in terms of love for all living entities, not just human beings. That's why Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita that the genuinely self-realized person sees all living entities as equal, no matter what kind of body they have. Bodies cannot be equal. Some bodies are stronger, smarter, more beautiful. But what is equal is the spiritual entity. So the actual enlightened person sees all living entities on the platform of equality. He or she doesn't seek brotherhood, sisterhood with the humans, and then gobble up all the animals. No, the genuine yogi sees all living entities as parts of the Supreme. In the ancient yoga texts, it is described that the chief executive of the state considered all living entities to be citizens, not just the human beings. And the chief executive, in the ancient yoga culture, he regarded that the welfare of all living entities was the priority, because they're all citizens. So this is the kind of world that opens up when we're equipped with non-material knowledge, transcendental knowledge. Transcendental knowledge means knowledge beyond things that have a beginning and end, things that are ruled by time. Anything else? All right, well, let's put you on hold and let's see if... Anyone in the back? You can ask questions about anything. Yes, I knew you had a question, thank you.
You said there was a book about the Hare Krishna. There's a book about the Hare Krishna.
Would you like to read?
I'm just asking if I forgot yet.
Yeah, right. I recommend this orange one right here. Okay? That's what I started with when I was 21. Check it out. I recommend it. Okay? Bhagavad Gita is the prime Bhakti Yoga text for those who are aiming for the love supreme, the highest meditation, making a permanent solution to stress and anxiety. What I like to end with, please do me the favor, I'd like to just chant the Maha Mantra with you just for a few moments. We can all do it. Call and tune. And we'll just do this for a few minutes so that the discussion we had will go deep into our consciousness. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Excellent. I thank you so much. And now?
Thank His Holiness Devamrita Swami for the wonderful presentation. He comes once a year, probably more now that he likes the audience, so I'll keep you posted. We have these amazing books, the Bhagavad Gita and the Searching for Vedic India. He's the author of Searching for Vedic India. So tonight we have a special deal for the students. It's Bhagavad Gita and Searching for Vedic India for $15. It's a special price, and you'll learn so much. Just Maharaj gave a nice presentation. You'll learn so much more on this subject. For example, the Searching for Vedic India talks about like outer body experience, reincarnation, the origin of consciousness. It's a very fascinating read, actually. My sister, who's a hardcore scientist, I presented her the Searching for Vedic India, and her spiritual journey really took off from that point after she read that book. So I highly recommend, and he can actually sign the book for you. And in few minutes we'll serve you dinner. Please like us on Facebook, USC Bhakti Club, so you'll get to hear all the exciting events we have every Monday. And if you want, you can also make a donation towards the dinner. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna.